The president-elect is filling his cabinet in near record time. It's a very stark difference from what happened last time when he was set to take office.
Madeline Rivera is in the nation's capital with more on Trump's new team. Madeline.
Hi, guys. Good morning. President-elect Trump rounded out the top 15 positions within his cabinet with this announcement last night. He chose former White House aide Brooke Rollins to lead the Department of Agriculture. In a post on X, Rollins wrote, in part, "It will be the honor of my life to fight for America's farmers and our nation's agricultural communities. This is big stuff for a small-town AG girl from Glen Rose, Texas." As a refresher, some of Trump's other high-profile nominees include Senator Marco Rubio for Secretary of State, veteran and former Fox News host Pete Hegseth for Defense Secretary, Robert F. Kennedy Jr. for Health and Human Services, Scott Bessent for Treasury Secretary, and former Florida Attorney General Pam Bondi for AG. Moving forward to the confirmation process on Capitol Hill, the appropriate Senate committees will review the backgrounds of the candidates, and generally, the committees will have hearings on the nominations where the nominees will testify. The committees will then vote on whether to send the nomination to the full Senate. A nominee needs a simple majority of the senators who are present and are voting in order to be confirmed. Some of Trump's choices are expected to be highly scrutinized. Still, rejections are rare. The last major cabinet rejection was in 1989. Former President George H.W. Bush's nominee for Defense Secretary, John Tower, fell in the Senate by a 47-53 vote. Charlie, Rachel, and Brian.
Thanks, Madeline.
Thank you, Madeline.
Thank you, Madeline. So the latest pick, you guys, was Brooke Rollins as Agriculture Secretary. But yeah, it's filling out really quickly. And Axios is bringing up a really interesting point about these picks. They're saying that these picks actually resemble more of like a European-style coalition government. Here's a headline from that piece the title of the piece is Behind the Curtain, Trump's Liberal Cabinet. I don't know if that's exactly accurate, but here's what they say. They say, lost in the noise of Trump's most controversial picks is the simple, undebatable fact that this might be the most ideologically diverse cabinet of modern times. As Axios' Zachary Basu told you, Trump's cabinet increasingly resembles a European-style coalition government staffed with a dizzying array of ideological rivals united for now by grand MAGA vision. It's Trump's team of ideological rivals. The team represents the Trump worldview. Traditional conservatism is dead, and its biggest lifelong advocates have been neutered to the point of irrelevance. I'm not sure if I agree with that last line, guys, but there is a lot of crossover here. And it's not stark. It's not like here's a liberal, here's a conservative. It's that these views are evolving, just like Donald Trump has remade the party. A lot of us have gotten to think differently about a lot of different subjects. So somebody like myself, I'm now like on the pro-peace side of things. I agree with RFK, for example, on food and his approach to pharma and his skepticism of pharma and the relationship between government and many of these corporations and corporate interests. But at the same time, I vehemently disagree with RFK Jr. on, say, abortion. And I think that kind of overlap is happening all over the place with so many of these picks.
Well, I think the piece is emphasizing like ideologically or political diversity and difference. And I think that's true. But again, I look at the wall, I look at the nominees, and I just see a lot of people who are clearly independent thinkers. People who are not afraid to speak their mind, to have an independent thought, maybe to buck the trend. And I just think that's very good. I think America would look at this wall and see the independence of thought more than they would see, whatever, the team of rivals or, can this hold together and all that. I just think they're seeing people who aren't afraid to question the status quo, maybe to upend the status quo. Maybe they don't all agree. But that's what the election was about to me. I mean, that's, Joe Rogan kind of fits in that. These are all people who would be interesting on Joe Rogan because they're willing to speak their minds. And that says something about where America is right now.
And many of them have been on Joe Rogan. It's interesting, and I think that what it points up, going back for 8 years now, Donald Trump has never been afraid to talk to anybody or listen to anybody. He's always trying to get smart people's opinions on different things. And one of the things that he talks about is, he wants to put RFK Jr. in charge of health issues and food issues, but he's not going to let him touch the oil drilling operation.
He's right next to Doug Burgum on our wall.
Yeah.
Like, and Trump's like, I'm okay with those two guys right next to each other because I
but
like them
he's
for
not going to
different
let
reasons.
RFK make any decisions about getting the liquid gold out of the ground and drilling.
Yeah.
Because
But let's hope that he works closely with other parts of the administration. So, for example, we just talked about Brooke
Right.
Rollins. Hopefully, RFK and Brooke Rollins share, are working hand in glove on some of these agricultural issues, because obviously so much of our food supply, I think, has been hurt by the sort of corporate industrial way of looking at things, and small farms have been hurt in the process. So I'm hoping that that's something that we can see some crossover there as well.
Okay.